There's no doubt, gotta get out of this small town. You took my heart from me, now you're everywhere I see. Set me free, let me fly, let me find new kinds of highs. We're just wasting here, waiting for another year. We both know the score, we've been here once before. So many words unspoken, you took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait, I can take the pain. I will surrender, let me go on a new adventure. It's my time, watch me build another life. Find another space, explore the world and find my place. Hope you find some peace of mind, hope the night was worth your time. Threw my heart away, we won't see another day. We both know the score, we've been here once before. So many words unspoken, you took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait, I can take the pain. I will surrender, let me go. It's a new adventure. On a new adventure. Adventure.
I got you and your vibes in my mind, I can't get them out, no matter how hard I try. I need you and your heart next to mine, yeah, I'm all about keeping it you and I. When you're here, you spark chemical reactions. Your aura strikes like lightning. Got no words, I'm just drowning in attraction. Only one way to describe it. It's electric, can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric, I'm up in my feelings. Got double vision 'cause of you tonight. It's electric. Intoxicated by you, yeah. It's electric. Intoxicate me like you do, yeah. Like you do. It's electric. Can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric. I'm up in my feelings. Got double vision 'cause of you tonight. It's electric. I'm up in my feelings. It's electric. You spark like chemical reaction. It's electric. Your aura strikes like lightning. It's electric. No, I ain't got a chance. I got no words. It's electric. Need you in your heart next to mine. It's electric.
Let me go, there's no doubt. Gotta get out of this small town. You took my heart from me, now you're everywhere I see. Set me free, let me fly. Let me find new kinds of highs. We're just wasting here, waiting for another year. We both know the score. We've been here once before. So many words unspoken. You took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait. I can take the pain. I will surrender. Let me go on a new adventure. On a new adventure. On a new adventure. On a new adventure. Let me go, it's my time. Watch me build another life. Find another space. Explore the world and find my place. Hope you find some peace of mind. Hope the night was worth your time. Threw my heart away. We won't see another day. We both know the score. We've been here once before. So many words unspoken. You took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait. I can take the pain. I will surrender. Let me go. It's a new adventure. On a new adventure. You find me dancing on my own. Nowhere to be, nowhere to go. In the rhythm, I don't think of you. Don't call me up when you're feeling blue. You find me dancing on my own. Nowhere to be, nowhere to go. In the rhythm, I don't think of you. Let me go. It's a new adventure. On a new adventure.
I got you and your vibes in my mind. I can't get them out, no matter how hard I try. Got no words, I'm just drowning in attraction. Only one way to describe it. It's electric, can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric, I'm up in my feelings. Got double vision 'cause of you tonight. It's electric. Intoxicated by you, yeah. It's electric. Intoxicate me like you do, yeah. Like you do. It's electric. Can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric. I'm up in my feet.
Welcome everyone, we're now here in the grand finals for FSL Wild Rift Open 2. My name's Infinity and together with me is Tashbunny. And Tashbunny, we're here for the last hurrah here for FSL.
Yep, that's right. Yesterday was a very interesting day where we saw one of the longest matches we've seen. And on top of that as well, there was also a match that was not streamed, which was between NSL as well as GGTY.
GGTY.
Yeah, that's right. And actually, if we heard yesterday as well, it was a 2-1 match between the two, which makes it very exciting. Because I was just telling Infin how if, say, that NSL managed to beat GGTY, then they must be so much more scary than what we saw during GGTY yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. I think NSL and GRINDSKY has been the most dominating team so far here for FSL Wild Rift Open. If you're looking at the bracket right now, GRINDSKY still undefeated so far from the group stages up until now here in the grand finals. And for NSL, they had a bit of a trouble up against GGTY. As you stated, if they beat GGTY, we know they're good.
Yeah, because we saw GGTYs play micro as well as macro, and we were very, very excited to say that they were just very, very, not just very, very good, but they're just so, in a way, very, very able to not only play as a team, but individually, they're able to make their own plays and make sure that they're able to rotate on their own. However, today during grand finals, we'll be seeing a best of 5 between the team GRINDSKY ERIS as well as NSL.
Yeah, and this is not just about any grand finals that you're going to see in any tournament at all. Because right now, this is 2 Southeast Asian games, representatives for their own region, and NSL is the defending champion from Wild Rift Open 1. So it's going to be a heck of a game. It's really exciting. It's going to be a banger of a series. That's all I can promise to the viewers.
It's going to be really exciting as well seeing that, because there is 1,000 Singaporean dollars on the line here in terms of prize pool, as well as 15,000 wild cores. And you know we are going to go crazy with the wild cores. There's just so many things to buy on the Wild Rift store. It's just a lot more. Like, I thought League of Legends PC had a lot of stuff to buy, and then we go into the game and you're like, there's custom recalls, there's emotes. I'm
Yeah.
just like, I need everything.
Yeah. And you can buy like how many wild passes from that? Like maybe
Oh
30 wild
yeah.
passes.
Wait, did you
So
finish your battle pass last season? Do you have
yeah,
the Detective Senna skin? I think it was.
right now, yeah, I've
Yeah,
unlocked it. I'm now
it's
towards
so nice.
the post. I don't know how you call it. It's like the posting of the champion
Oh
skin.
yeah, the champion poses. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
just so many things going on. The only thing I wish now is that alternate intro screens. Like say you have
Oh,
one, right? That would be so cool, right?
yeah, yeah. Like
But
when you jump in after the draft, you have this loading screen and stuff like that. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
we're just giving ideas to Riot now to have them take our money, and I don't think I'll be mad if they did that. But coming
Yeah.
back to the games right now. So what for as an NSL's first ever tournament, what did you see from NSL's draft usually?
NSL, honestly, this is my first time seeing them, but hearing from their past coach, because before jumping into being the Southeast Asian game representatives for Singapore, they have a coach here in the Philippine region where I've
Wow.
talked about them, and I think they're really, really strong right now up against GRINDSKY. Like in the last season, right, they beat GGTY in the grand finals 3-1, but right now here in the semifinals, they beat GGTY 2-1. So it's really interesting to see how this would turn out. And GrindSky Esports, I think right now they have evolved. They have a support system under their name. They have GrindSky, and I think this is really going to be an intense matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. But for now, let's have a look at the draft. And this is going to be really interesting because once we see from the side of NSL, I think these are very, very fair bans. I think from both teams, actually. We think about it, Olaf, you know why you want to ban him out is because his ultimate makes it just so hard for him to stop and to just kind of like go into the backlines, just decimate you. Karma, we know the reason yesterday. And Camille, playmaking potential is so high. Same goes for Set. And I realize you know what she can do if she gets super fed.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're seeing Jace being the priority here for GrindSky. I mean, just because you don't ban it, Jace is just very flexible. And we've
That's what they
seen
used
how Ray
yesterday,
played.
right?
Yeah, Ray played this Jace yesterday, and we'll see how this would turn out once again for her if ever it comes down into the team fights. But Yuumi, an interesting pick because yesterday we've seen a Yuumi become unsuccessful.
Yeah, I think it was a situation where the Yumi was just trying to be all over the place at once instead of just focusing one person to really go ham against. But you know what else is interesting? The fact that no other supports are banned. Because yesterday, some of the early bans were Lulu and even Nami, but it looks like Morgana is going to be locked in by NS19. And this is also a very flex pick when you think about it, because Morgana mid definitely viable, can definitely keep the mid, the mid lane in check. Rather, you don't have to worry too much about it. Just put in your tainted soil, and then everything just disappears, and you get so much gold out of it. And then you have to wait for the next wave to push up. But when you think about her as a support as well, she has so many playmaking capabilities in terms of making sure that your ADC can not only make plays but also stay safe.
Yeah. It's really just the power of Tormented Shadow to clear out waves right now. But we're here on the bans. And interestingly enough, we're going to see Jarvan 4 being banned away here by NSL, having huge respects onto the jungle role of GrindSky ERIS. And Ezreal, on the other hand, has been banned away by GS. Because as we all know, an Ezreal and Braum duo in the bot lane is really strong. You have a lot of pokes and you have a lot of flexibility that the Braum provides into protecting and peeling for Ezreal.
It's like a built-in nanny 24/7 where the baby can be playing at the edge as aggressive as you want. But I think Braum is like one of the best nannies you can have in the bot lane. You know you're not going to be dying when you have a Braum on your side. I mean, he's a very wholesome champion. So I think he practiced what he preaches.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, the Unbreakable Will as well, coming in from Braum, alongside with the passive, is just too obnoxious to just fight against. So if you're having like Ezreal and Varus in the same lineup, it's just going to be much further when it comes to being annoying in the duo lane. But right now, the
Yeah.
fourth pick of NSL going to be
They
the Darius and
really
GRINDSKY.
they really like Corky. Did you notice? Like, we
Yeah,
saw Corky picked out a lot. And I don't blame them because now with the Darius, now with the Braum, I think you really want that armor shred. You really want to be able to take down those front lines. But let's talk about Fiora. I've seen so much playmaking potential from Fiora over as WCS MYSG, and usually a team that has a Fiora that is ahead is scary. Fiora, when she comes online, she can do so much. She can either go really, really ham, coming in for the back line if she wants. She can even initiate if she wants to. She can go aggressive because she can actually repost a lot of the damage out of the way. And on top of that, the pressure she can put on the side lanes is also pretty immense, especially if you want to build a bulwark.
yeah. I think right now what NSL wants to do is have the Fiora as a late game insurance. If ever they're not doing as well in the early game, they still have the splitting push potential wherein Fiora can just go ham in the sidelines. So going to be something that we could expect, and having that action as well, potential 1-3-1 for the late game.
Yeah, that's right. But looking at the side from GRINDSKY ERIS, they don't necessarily have the tankiest team. They don't even really have a tank to just really take care of the backlines. All they have for GRINDSKY is Kha'Zix. When you talk about Kha'Zix, you know that you want to pick potential. Riven, I know she's able to do a 1v3 situation, but she isn't the tankiest. When it comes to initiation, really, they only have a Yuumi when you think about it.
Yeah. I think Yuumi just scales pretty well, and just lacking when it comes to front lines. You have that sustainability that can keep you up when it comes to regen, having your HP up every single time when you go into team fights. So that's something that is very important for the side of GRINDSKY. And a while ago, you were talking about Corky. Why is it being picked up consistently? And the answer to that is because when we're looking at the whole draft, they're pretty much AD. Majority of the time, they have Riven, they have Kha'Zix, they have Jace, and now Corky, it's overshadowed as a marksman, but in reality, it's actually producing AP damage. So it's an alleviation into the monotonic damage category. They need Corky to be able to just provide AP damage, and at the same time, the package actually deals a lot of value when it comes to team fights, separating the enemy team.
Yep, that's right. But let's talk about Akshan right now. Akshan, I think, is one of those champions that we saw being picked up a lot as well during WCS. I think for this one, I think Akshan is going to be their. Oh, actually, Akshan is top lane, and we're gonna have a Morgana and Braum bot lane. Actually, it's not our first time seeing an AP going bot lane. I think this is gonna be no problem for them at all. But the value that an Akshan can bring for mid lane here, can you tell me what it is?
I think the action right now, what I've seen and what I've heard is you can build onto like a hull breaker action in the 4 minutes into the matchup. After the laning phase, you can bring him down into the bot lane and have your duo go in mid lane and just have him just push, shove the wave consistently, and that's pretty much the power of action. And on top of all that, you have the unique passive of reviving your teammates when it comes to team fights. And
Yeah.
when you have Morgana, Braum, these are like AoE champions that can set up the 5v5 team fights for action to just consistently revive his teammates and be up there. Have a lot of these up times during team fights.
Yeah, that's right. Imagine when you think that you've dealt with the most annoying person on the team, like say a Fiora or even a Darius, suddenly he's back and you're just like, ah man, here we go again. We gotta do that another two times now. That's just really irritating. But right now, I'm really excited to see what exactly a Yuumi can do, a properly portrayed Yuumi, because as we know right now, Yuumi is one of the S tier sort of supports, and we know she can give so much value. On top of the final chapter, the heals that come in is ridiculously strong. You also get that mana returning every time you get a hit onto the enemy team, and on top of that as well, you have the speed boost. It's just really irritating to deal with, and given that she can actually go on top of just so many different champions right now, while there isn't really a specific champion she can really buff. But think about it, if you want to go on Fiora to just go really aggressive, you can. If you want to go onto Corky to make sure he can play on the front lanes, you can as well.
Yeah, I think Yuumi right now is just so flexible, but expectedly with their draft being so squishy, no tanks, no aggros to really just tank in the front lines, this is going to be a Yuumi that builds support, not a Luden's Echo first item. Because what we've seen yesterday, right? It's a Luden's Echo first item, which was,
Yeah, that was
a bit
weird.
shocking. Yeah.
I was just thinking to him like, are you sure you want to do that, sir? I'm not because I think at that point they were kind of like low on that what do you call that, on the AP damage. They wanted to compensate for that, but it comes down to at least seeing if they really need it or not. You don't necessarily have to go AP if in a situation that you don't really need to.
But it means if you want to go AP Yumi, you could go build Roa.
Oh yeah, the extra HP is
Instead of
just so
Luna.
good. Wait, I have a question for you. Do you know if her slow can stack with the Rylai?
Should be. Yeah.
That makes
I
it
think
very
so.
a lot more interesting, doesn't it? Imagine final chapter with the Rylai. Oh, that is so irritating.
Yeah. Although, I don't know if it's going to be the best case scenario of building Yumi with Rylai's, but yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. If you want to just put out CC onto your enemy team or your opposing team when it comes to team fights, that could definitely help quite a lot on providing root along with slow with the ultimate of Yumi.
Yeah, that's right. But you don't see Anna 17, the Morgana, actually. She rarely misses her snares. Every time it actually hits, but we never really see follow-up, understandably, because it is a Braum. But either way, though, I'm really excited to see how team fights are gonna go, because if she doesn't miss her snares, you know that once a team starts collapsing, it's gonna be an instant kill.
Yeah. And for this early game, when it comes to objectives, GRINDSKY ERIS should have an easy time in getting the dragon. They have a lot of these damage coming from the early game. And when we're looking at the items, you have the Black Cleaver already built up for One Heda and Ray Ray. And for AA, you expect the Yumu's Ghostblade to be his first, or to be her first item here. So they're nearing that first item for GRINDSKY ERIS to be able to have this huge power spike.
Yeah.
And in 4 minutes, you have less of you having the package already. So it's going to be a breeze when it comes to taking one objective. But going on the second one is going to be interesting here how NSL will be contesting Rift Herald or even the Infernal Drake.
Yep, that's right. But when I just realized something very interesting. While we are about 5 minutes in right now, this is a very slow beginning, but Juanita, alone here, trying to... a bit too aggressive, I feel.
Yeah, but
She's a
Riven is
Riven.
just too mobile.
Yeah, she's a Riven doing Riven things. I would just hop out of the way. Speaking of that though, do you remember back in League of Legends PC there was a Battle Bunny Riven skin? I wish they brought it to Wild Rift because that was actually one of the nicest skins.
Yeah. I don't know though. I feel like there's just a lot of skins that they're slowly building to for Wild Rift, and maybe it takes too much space.
Probably.
I
I mean,
don't
there's a
know.
lot more better skins. When you think about it, Battle Bunny Riven was there since what? Season 1, Season 2 of PC? That's like considered legacy skin. But if you look at over on the top side here, looks like Riven coming top. I thought there were gonna be a collapse here onto Juanita. Clearly, that's not gonna be happening. I think Darius was like, nah, guys. I wanna go back. Don't collapse. Abort!
This is what we talked about. When it comes to the early game, it's GRINDSKY ERIS who should be fine,
Yeah.
because they have a lot of these power spikes already. And when you think about NSL, you don't really have a necessary marksman. You can consider Action to be that marksman for NSL.
He's not really
to
a
be that
marksman when you
constant
think
damage
about it.
dealer.
Yeah.
But it's not really the best damage dealer when it comes to thinking about the marksman pool for Wild Rift.
That's right. But look at that again. I am just keeping my eye on NS17 here. She don't miss. That's the most interesting part about this. So now when you see about like how you said earlier about GRINDSKY, we saw yesterday in terms of their macro play, in terms of how they rotate and how they grab their objectives. We've seen it happen again today. They're really fast to go into objective side. They're not afraid to go aggressive when they need to. And just now, Juanita was alone, but she managed to disrupt the dragon if she wanted to disrupt the dragon from the side of NSL, and still her team managed to get it.
Yeah. And on top of all that, you talked about GRINDSKY. I'm going to talk about NSL. Because you look at Action, Hullbreaker. Right, this is what we talked about. This is the build style of Action, expectedly having a Fiora and an Action in the same lineup. They really want to go for push in the sidelines. They want to
Yeah.
split push up against GRINDSKY as their late game insurance if ever GRINDSKY dominates the early game.
Yep, that's right. Top of that, just now I thought the team fight was actually gonna be happening at top, but clearly that wasn't really the case. It was really just a dance between the two teams. It's more of like, I'm gonna defend this turret, and the other team was like, do we want to actually go for a top lane turret or not? And we're gonna see a rotation here in terms of the Baron laners as well as the AD, or at least the Dragon laners as well. We're gonna see a shift here, bottom lane to top lane to bottom lane, but the damage coming in, not quite enough to get anyone. This is once again those situations where we see something close to happening, but not quite.
Yeah. And the Rift Herald though spawned in the mid lane. This is actually quite clever coming from GRINDSKY, as 17 has to recall as their HP bar is really low. So 2 towers secured by GRINDSKY in the first 7 minutes of this matchup, giving them a 3k gold lead.
That's right, but NS10 aggressive on the side here. He wants to get II, not quite happening right now. Has to flash away. Juanita from the back here tries to get something, and you saw 2 players there nearly going down.
Really close coming from GRINDSKY. NSL is playing and dancing with that melody coming in from GRINDSKY, as they're really playing quite aggressive here. And I think they should be, because GRINDSKY has that advantage, as we keep on emphasizing for their lineup for this draft up against NSL. They have the advantage when it comes to the power spike here early on, and NSL just has to delay this fight, just has to play the mid game, wherein Fiora and Action will be split pushing up against GRINDSKY.
Yep, that's right. When you have 2 split pushers, the pressure on top lane and bottom lane, that's gonna be a problem, because you're gonna have to separate your team into 2 different areas to kind of make sure that the lanes aren't too pushed up. But looks like there is gonna be a response here. NSL wants to in turn take the mid lane turret, and we saw that they actually wanted to go for the Herald, but that's not gonna happen here, because Less of You is gonna have to clear up mid side here as well. But look at the rotations coming in from NSL. This is beautiful. They went mid, they pushed up the wave, they thought about coming in bot, but the wave wasn't being pushed in. They're like, okay, that's fine. We'll just try and get as much gold as we can from bottom side.
Less of You doesn't know there are 4 man just going there, but GRINDSKY ERIS answered quite perfectly. NSL lost 17 in that fight, and now to follow up as Ray quickly responds onto Less of You. 11 uses up the flash over the wall to go back to safety, as 19 is in danger, as Ray looks for the chase, goes for the flash. 19, you cannot run, you cannot hide, as GRINDSKY brings you down.
Yup, that's right. You can't run from a cat, they say. Cats are just so mobile in that way. More mobile than Akshan as well. But this is the second time we actually saw Braum nearly going down just now in the middle lane, now near here Dragon, and that's what Less of You can do with the Quirky. And that's going to be just an annoying thing to deal with, especially later, because when you think about it, even though they have a Darius, even though they have a Fiora, their HP and their armor is just going to be grinded down, like it or not. It's going to be hard for them to actually stay alive unless they can really get the pick off on the Quirky.
Yeah, it's really difficult right now for NSL. When it comes to the 5v5, they're highly relying on Morgana and for Braum to be able to set the pace for them, but they're not really a composition that wants and shouts team fights. They're going for a split push, and if they don't set that pace for them, it's not looking that good for NSL for game 1.
Yeah, that's right. One thing about GRINDSKY as well is because they know already what they want to do. They saw the Fiora, they saw the action, they're like, okay, what we can do is we can force as much fights as we can. Force them in a situation where Akshan and Fiora is not able to play the side lanes, because as they play side lanes and leave their teammates alone, we can just push out into another lane. We can just go and take a team fight on another side. And look at that, Fiora not able to even take the jungle anymore. Suddenly, their whole jungle just taken over by GRINDSKY.
She can. And as 13, when you're looking at the levels, sure, the jungle versus jungle individual matchup is 10 and 10, but you have a lot of his teammates just there to support him. Level 11 when it comes to their hyper carry. So really, when it comes to level gap, GRINDSKY has the advantage, and with the Rift Herald, they secure another turret in the bot lane. Now 17 uses up the flash to go back away. Glacial Fisher is already there to counter engage, but Juanita is in the front lines, getting the secured kill onto NS10, and NSL has to retreat.
Yeah, that's right. But meanwhile, look at up top here. Ray already pushed up all the way to inhibitor turret. While his ability didn't really put too much damage onto that, but it's enough to just clear out lanes as much as they want. and they can go as aggressive as they want. Suddenly, we just talked about how Morgana was able to just never miss her snares. Suddenly, as we go into team fight section, it's hard for her to really pinpoint who exactly she wants to snare. And if she really wants to snare that damage dealer, it's gonna be really hard, because how do you get to a Corki that's being taken care of so many different other damage dealers that are just so mobile? You have Kha'Zix just now, you have a Riven, you have a Jace. It's so hard to catch, and on top of that, you put a Yuumi on top of the Corki, he's gonna be going zigzagging around you, just going round and round. And one thing it is about that binding is that while it does have the situation that you can bind, but
Damage, it's just so amazing coming in from GRINDSKY. Just Gatling gun, shredding the armor down. That will be the double kill already for Elusive You, and GRINDSKY just smashed NSL, getting that triple with NS10 and NS19 left to defend.
I feel so bad for NS13. She really wants to go online. She really wants to make sure that she can at least farm something. But the problem is, no matter where she goes, there's a ward there, there's someone waiting there. And GS, they're just so far ahead. It is actually really interesting, because just now we saw for a while they were 0-0 kills, but slowly we saw the money come in from them.
AA jumps in, but Ray with a flank, gets the kill onto NS10. No one to support, no one to respond for NSL. Because GRINDSKY has secured the tier 2 mid lane.
Ugh, just talking about that just now. I don't know how they managed to out-farm NSL.
Oh, AA! Woo. That was surprising, quite dangerous to say the least, as he jumped, or she jumped onto NS17. But right now, Action is leading the charge, trying to defend. The ultimate is there. Less of You is going to be safe with a lot of their members just healing for her. NSL is now in danger. What can they do in this game 1?
Yep, that's right. Morgana's Dark Binding gonna come here, but gonna get a root here, but no follow-ups. Less of You on the aggressive. Wants to go forward. Juanita chasing from the front here, but from the back, there's 2 more coming back, but they have the teammates' backs here. But look at that. They're gonna, Ray is gonna be able to finish off Fiora, and suddenly he's on a rampage.
With NS19 left, GRINDSKY ERIS can do and finish this game number 1. Can she actually defend this NS19? Yes, she has the Hullbreaker. Yes, she has the capacity to go for it, but GRINDSKY, with their huge advantage of 15k gold, they get 2 inhib turrets.
I am just so shocked, because just now GS were just so low on HP. In a normal situation, they weren't supposed to have won that. But the thing is, they're just so great at how they want to use their abilities as well as their tag team potential here. You saw Gia coming out forward, coming out of her ADC, taking as much damage as possible. Hashtag just support things.
I like the hashtag. New stuff. New hashtags.
You have the good hashtags, like it can be passive aggressive or good, like dying for your ADC. If you're dying for ADC in a good way, it's like, yes, you gotta kill, it's a trait, love you for that. But then you have an ADC who just leaves you to die, or you had to pay for your ADC, since hashtag just support things, but passive aggressive.
Absolutely insane. New hashtags here for FSL Water Rift Open, but right now, looking at the items, I think it would have been quite different if NS19 built into a Black Cleaver first to the Hullbreaker, because when it comes to GRINDSKY's playstyle, they really force out fights. They travel into the sidelines and force out these pushes, force out the shove the wave, to clear the minions, to be able to get prio when it comes to the lanes, and having Hullbreaker as your first item.
Are you kidding
Can't really
me?
just have their support right there. Now AA just jumps in, gets a double already. NS10 used to Proto Belt to go back away, and GRINDSKY got the triple once again.
We were just talking during picks and bans just now how they didn't have a proper initiator. But clearly, Less of You was just saying, it's okay, I may be an ADC, but look at me, I'm just so confident enough to be able to be playing the playmaker. I don't even care. They have you have NS11, you have NS13, NS10. It's fine. I can shred their armor. I don't care.
Yeah, with a Baron Nashville ready for GRINDSKY ERIS, and Nexus is open for them to take down an NSL. Will lose hope for game 1 as GRINDSKY strikes first in the grand finals.
Oh my gosh, this is so good for GRINDSKY because it comes back to the draft pick as well. Because I was just racking my brains here as to what exactly are they trying to do. They don't have a proper initiator. But one thing about GRINDSKY is that if they want to just put the pedal to the metal, they will. Look at that. AA 2-0, Juanita 1-0. Actually, they didn't die at all.
Yeah, it's a perfect win. Although when you
50-0.
consider that NSL got a Rift Herald just a while back, oh well, I don't think so.
No, they
They
didn't.
actually did not get any objectives away from GRINDSKY, which was surprisingly enough. So it's just the
Yeah.
perfect game for GRINDSKY.
It really was, honestly. And on top of that, we talked about this yesterday as well, that win condition. I think the fact that one thing that's really scary about seeing those characters that you want to build Hullbreaker is that when you build it too early, you pretty much already gave away like your idea of what you want to do the entire game. So what do? You just pressure that champion, not allow them to be able to pressure the side lanes by forcing not only as many fights as possible, but also make sure to find them whenever you don't see them in the lane. And most likely you'll find them alone, just kind of farming over in the side lanes. And if you look at in terms of damage here, the whole team of NS just not able to really put out that much damage. They were too busy playing defensive instead of being able to play as aggressive as they want to.
Yeah, and the adaptability of GRINDSKY as well, commendable. How Ray built into a Hullbreaker to match up the pace up against Action, potential to push the side lanes, right? So that's really just phenomenal coming from GRINDSKY, but still commendable game number 1 coming in from NSL.
Yep, that's right. It's just actually really interesting as well how they played that. But one thing that we do know is that NSL, they still managed to play or win out against GGTY. And this is going to be really interesting because we talked about yesterday about how game one is usually the warm-up match, the get to know you match, or just like a hi match rather, or hello, the welcome match. But then I'm just really interested to see what's NSL going to do in round 2. Will they be able to change it up? Let's go straight up 180 and just catch them off guard, or do they have another sort of idea how they want to play this? However, though, we'll be taking a quick break. Don't go anywhere because after this we'll be going to game 2, so don't go anywhere. We're going to come back for Wild Rift Open 2, brought to you by FSL.
I got you and your vibes in my mind, I can't get them out, no matter how hard I try. I need you and your heart next to mine, yeah, I'm all about keeping it you and I. When you're here, you spark chemical reactions, your aura strikes like lightning. Got no words, I'm just drowning in attraction. Only one way to describe it. It's electric, can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric, I'm up in my feelings. Got double vision 'cause of you tonight. It's electric. think you do. It's electric, can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric, I'm up in my feelings. Got double vision 'cause of you tonight. It's electric, I'm up in my feelings. It's electric, you always get the reaction. It's electric, your aura strikes like lightning. It's electric, no, I ain't got a chance. I got no words, no words. It's electric, need you in the heart next to mine. It's electric.
Let me go, there's no doubt. Gotta get out of this small town. You took my heart from me, now you're everywhere I see. Set me free, let me fly. Let me find new kinds of highs. We're just wasting here, waiting for another year. We both know the score. We've been here once before. So many words unspoken. You took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait. I can take the pain. I will surrender. Let me go on a new adventure. On a new adventure. On a new adventure. On a new adventure. Let me go, it's my time. Watch me build another life. Find another space. Explore the world and find my place. Hope you find some peace of mind.
Hello everyone and welcome back to FSL Wild Rift Open 2. I'm Tashbunny alongside Infinity. We're your casters for tonight and we're heading to game number 2.
Yeah, a great start coming from GRINDSKY just a while back, having a perfect win up against NSL with their quite squishy glass cannon composition, but still came into fruition having a dominant win up against NSL.
I think what's great about GRINDSKY is that they already knew not only what were they doing, but as well the idea that Akshan and Fiora will be coming online quite late. So what they did was just, okay, they want to play this comp, that's fine. We'll just go super duper fast. And suddenly, it was just all downhill from there before they could even come online, which is very, very unfortunate.
Yeah, and I think what NSL was supposed to do is just a split push comp, having Fiora and Akshan go inside lanes, but really what GRINDSKY did with their huge advantage when it comes to the early game, they were able to just force out fights, force out the clear and minions to shove the waves up against Akshan, which disabled and hindered the potential split push to gain turrets for them.
Yeah, that's right. And that's also what's really interesting as well. It's what we talked about in terms of farm. That priority coming in from GRINDSKY is just something that they really, really knew how to weaponize as well. But for now, the question is, NSL, are they able to come back from this? Because we know NSL has been able to come out on top before, and I'm sure they really, really want to defend their crowns from being taken away. So round number 2 is going to be very interesting because now the adaptability is what we want to look for here in terms of coming from NSL. So here's the draft right now, and bans, still standard bans.
Yeah, Yumi, Karma, Olaf, Aurelia, Set, and Ziggs banned away. With GRINDSKY not being able to ban Camille, Camille is a great option for NSL. And with Galio open, this could be a Galio-Camille duo type of setup that can wombo combo GRINDSKY when it comes to team fights.
Yeah, that's right. And on top of that, if you don't want to do, if they don't want to go Galio, they can also go Gragas if they want to. Also a great sort of combo if you think about it. But right now, they're saying Corki was doing so good for GRINDSKY. We're going to take that away from you guys. We're not letting you have that again.
And if NSL don't get Gragas, it could be a Senna Gragas bot lane. It has been a prevalent duo lane in WCS Philippines domestically.
And Malaysia.
It has been a strong powerhouse in the bot lane. So if NSL doesn't deny, it could be GRINDSKY picking it up.
Yep, that's right. But I really want to see that Galio picked up at least. We weren't able to see Galios as much as we wanted to, especially because it was one of the champions that were actually banned out a lot. But what's also very... Oh, there we go. The Galio will be taken away because they do know that they don't want to have the Camille together with the Galio. But Rakan is the one that they want to go for this time since Yumi is banned out. So now what Rakan can do for them? Rakan is a great initiator. Also, great sort of support that is very, very slippery to deal with and can really catch you off guard, especially when you play in the bushes or from the side. Sometimes you are at this position where you don't really know where exactly it's going to come from, and suddenly you're all just charmed.
Yeah, and if I'm NSL right now, I could be banning away Riven, Kha'Zix, or Gragas among those three.
Yeah.
Because expectedly, we've seen Jace being played by Ray from the game a while ago, and even yesterday from their fight in the semifinals.
That's like her comfort pick, I believe.
Right? And even Riven as well. Really, really strong Baron lane being played by Wanheda. So those two options are going to be amazing if NSL picks it up. And really surprising with Nasus being banned. I think they're really respecting the Nasus pick that GRINDSKY provided to us yesterday in the semifinals.
That's right. And we all know what their Nasus can do. Their Nasus hurts. Their Nasus can chase, and their Nasus can just really, really take a lot of damage before going down, and it's really irritating to deal with. So it's rather just better to just ban it than having to deal with it. But I'm surprised that no one is actually picking up a Gragas, or at least a Gragas ban just yet, because we know that throughout WCS, I think from what you've mentioned, Philippines and both Malaysia, this is one of those champions that are not only very, very scary, but can provide so much for the team. They have the displacement, they have high damage as well, and a lot of great initiation. But looks like J4 will be next up in the ban. And honestly, because I think they want to avoid that situation where you have that all-in comp here coming in from like Jarvan Ultimate, the Cataclysm, and then coming in as well, the Galio Ultimate. That's just a recipe for disaster when you think about it.
Yeah. Although I'm not a huge fan with the Jarvan 4 ban.
Because I think
you already
Jarvan
have
is...
Camille,
Yeah.
you have Corki, you have Rakan. These are all mobile champions that can really just jump out of Cataclysm easily with their skill kit. So, not really the best option. I think it's a huge respect onto AA, their jungler, for GS. And considering they have Senegalio for GRINDSKY, Jax is a great option because they need more damage in their lineup.
There's a meme here in WCS MYSG. Whenever we see a helicopter, we're obliged to sing helicopter, helicopter. And also a fun fact as well, Jax is the only pentakill that we saw during WCS MYSG.
Oh, really?
Yes, we only got one single pentakill, and that came from a Jax.
I don't know if we had more pentakills, but something that is memorable for WCS is the first pentakill. It was GRINDSKY, but their male team, wherein Corki was played. Yeah.
Okay, so Corki got the pentakill. Okay, I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, to be fair, the team that got that with Jax before was playing a funnel comp. Imagine a Lulu as well as a Yumi. Yeah, I don't know why that happened, but it did. But yeah, oh, are they gonna go Lux? I don't know why. I'm not a big fan of Lux picks. But if Gia is able to play Lux safely in the backline, play with the team, not get separated, that's gonna be very painful.
I like this. It's a Galio mid lane. I don't know if the bottom lane is just the best. They have Senna and Lux in the same lineup. I think it's more so a funnel onto their jungler Jace and also Jax being that split pusher potential
Yeah.
that can really just disrupt how Garen would play this out. But considering how NSL drafted their game number 2, I think this is going to be more of an advantage for NSL. When you think about it, in the early phase, they have a lot of lockdowns, they have a lot of CCs to bring down GS.
Yep, that's right. And we all know Camille jungle also clears very, very fast. And she's able to really go throughout all the lanes and really get those picks if she chooses to. Now, when you think about a gank coming up to Baron lane, it's going to be really scary. You have Riven with the knockups, with also the stuns. And then you also have a Camille. It's going to be very irritating for Jax on the top lane. I actually kind of feel bad for Juanita already.
Yeah. We'll see how this turns out. A huge priority to go late game coming from GRINDSKY. When it comes to NSL though, they could just punish when it comes to mid game, as they have Corki, they have Riven, they have CCs that can lock down onto these champions for GRINDSKY. It's going to be a banger of a game. This will be intense from both teams.
Yeah, that's
And I'm
right.
excited here, Tashbunny.
I'm really excited too. This is gonna be really good. I mean, we just talked about how NSL didn't look so strong in the first game, but I think this is gonna be their comeback game. 100%. Now, what's also very interesting as well is the fact that I was really hoping to see Gia play Galio in the bot lane with Senna, because we know that potential comes in for them dual lane, but Ray. That's the flash away. That's so early!
Yeah. Although this is the power of a Riven versus mid lane matchup up against a Galio. Because when it comes to the first couple of seconds, you don't really have much damage when it comes to Galio. Yes, you have Gales of Wind, you have some CCs, but when it comes to the damage aspect, Riven will definitely have that priority. And this is what we're talking about a while ago. When it comes to the draft, NSL has the advantage in the first couple of minutes in the game. When it comes to the laning phase, they have lane prio.
Yep, that's right. And just now as well, because of the Scrybloom that was actually hit by Riven, you saw that suddenly they already know where AA is. And now, if say that they want to kind of respond to that and just kind of like invade the jungle somewhere else, they can if they want to.
Yeah, definitely would be, but junglers are just visiting mid lane, as we've seen in the past when it comes to the rotations pathways from junglers in the professional scene. They want to visit mid lane, have that safety net, but
Just come in,
right now
say
here
hi,
on top lane, yeah,
show their dominance, like, hey, I'm over here. Don't try anything funny, guys. Just like walk away, you know?
yeah. Although top lane not looking that great from NS10, but NS13 is here to save the day, pushes out one header to continue to push, to continue to kill, and NS10 is safe.
Yeah, that's right. But looks like there is gonna be some high pressure here coming in from the bot lane, and that's because of the Senna. I'm actually surprised that they're actually making this work so well. But look at that, the Shroud is coming out here. They want to go on the aggressive, but that ward has potentially saved their lives, and they live to want to stay another round without going back to the base.
I think you were going for like a see another day, but we don't have any other day. This is the grand
Exactly.
finals.
This is just the last one. You can't go another day for now.
So now I'm really curious how this would turn out for both teams, because right now both teams are even footing. Both teams are toe to toe in this laning phase. No one's really overextending as of yet. Everyone's playing very safe. But when it comes to a dual lane with Senna and a support, expectedly it is the support who gets the CS, because Senna wants to just stack up onto the passive, gain more AD, gain more range, get more crit rate, just to get that stack. So right now you see in the item bar more gold coming from Lux, but right now it's coming in NS13 with the Hextech ultimatum, with NSL going for the mission justice, getting the first blood for NSL.
We just talked about how Juanita was gonna have all eyes on her, and look at how many times Camille visited Baron Lane. Juanita, I mean, I understand why she wanted to play super aggressive. She wanted to farm. She wanted to see if she can get a kill as well, because we all know that that in terms of on Jax, if you can get a hit, you can go super aggressive if you want to. For now, that's 19. Take some turret damage here. Was a bit low, but we all know what Riven can do. If she can just play, she can be safe if she wants to. She can be as aggressive as she wants. Riven doing Riven things, but all you need to do is stop Riven from kind of running away with an inch and a mile.
Yeah. Well, you have hashtag support things now. You have
Yeah.
hashtag Riven things. You pretty much have
We're gonna have 10 different hashtags at the end of the
Yeah.
night.
for every single game. You have
yeah.
each champion with hashtags.
I mean, when we look at Juanita, we can just be like hashtag Juanita things, because every time Juanita plays like a Baron laner, she's just so dominating aggressive. Look at that, she's not scared. She may have lost, but she's not afraid to go aggressive if she wants to. Look at that, she's like, yeah, just because you killed me before, I go helicopter. No amount of spinning can save you now, my good sir.
Yeah, it's really an amazing skill, denying a lot of these normal attacks coming from the enemy team. It can be utilized quite heavily up against a Garen. But right now, with the objectives up, it's NSL starting the Rift Herald, and GRINDSKY potentially contesting it.
Yeah, that's right. GRINDSKY is always usually the first, but it looks like the steal isn't gonna be happening, and look at that quickness comes out.
A bit too late coming from GRINDSKY to contest it. Less of few using the ultimate, getting some shield for his teammates, but NS13 is very low. Uses up the flash to go back away as NSL did not get anything when it comes to kills. However, with the Nation Justice there, getting the kill onto Ray Ray. A nice buy one, take one from NSL, but fight's not going to be over as GRINDSKY follows this up with a 1-for-1 trade, and GRINDSKY takes it back.
Yep, that's right. But Juanita on the top side here, just kind of chilling. They're just like, okay, you guys can go fight in the mid lane. This turret, though, is gonna be mine. And she's not gonna care about the Camille.
And NS13 is there to contest, is there to fight with the Wanheda having CC. The stun is there. Wanheda uses up the ultimate to gain more resistance, to gain more armor up against NS13. Now the barrier is also forced. The flash is ready for Wanheda. Whenever it comes down to a 1v1 with a devastating position, he could use it, but not going that far. Because Wanheda's gonna be safe for now, but NSL
Not
is
for
here
long.
to go for the flag.
Oh, she flashed
Grand
that.
entrance will miss. The flash is there to go back away, and NSL will miss that, but GRINDSKY will lose their top turret in return.
Yep, that's right. It's a buy one, free one situation.
Wait.
And it's still a little bit too early for Lux to put in the damage.
Can't do this, GRINDSKY. Uses up the final spark to clear the wave. But here, we have a delayed turret takedown by NSL. They're gonna get it at the end of the day, and GRINDSKY will take the trade. 1-for-1 turret objectives in 6 minutes into the matchup, will GRINDSKY steadily holding up against NSL.
Yep, that's right. And in terms of gold as well, this is like kind of a deja vu moment here like before as well, where GRINDSKY was just silently getting gold ahead of NSL as well. And I think that's what they're really good at, that fast farming, using their advantage when it comes to lane prio. And while they were low in terms of kills, they can really make it work. But in terms of team fights so far though, I haven't really seen GRINDSKY actually coming out on top just yet.
We'll see about that. It's now NSL 11. Gets a grand entrance in to get the knock up against GRINDSKY. No follow-up though when it comes to damage, as GRINDSKY has 3-man roam into the mid lane, evenly matched up. So no kill so far into the mid lane matchup from NSL and GRINDSKY.
Yep, that's right. I really want to see this 1 versus 1 here from NS19 and Juanita.
The top lane.
Oh my god, how many people are coming for NS10?
It's a 4-man roam from GRINDSKY, but NS10 is just too tanky. But now GRINDSKY looks to go for the push as Wanheda is in danger, is in trouble, as NSL 11 is there. 19 to follow up, the stun, the CC, the lockdown. NSL takes the kill onto the bottom lane, but GRINDSKY secures the turret top lane.
Yup, that's right. No amount of helicopter can save them, but now they have their eyes on the little Corgi Dugo on the mid side here.
Yeah, and with NSL having to push on bot lane, at least a turret trade will be secured by them, but still a tier 1 for a tier 2, not the best when it comes to trading objectives. But for now, GRINDSKY in the mid lane, it's Gia, and less of you in danger. It's a 2v4 as GRINDSKY will die in the mid lane. A 2-for-1 trade from NSL.
Yep, that's right. This feels like a buy one free one situation on all sides right now. Where we see a fight on mid lane, you're gonna be seeing something happen on the side lanes as well. And I think I really like these responses coming from both teams. The problem is the responses are not necessarily in the same spot right now. So in terms of jungle control, when you look about it, jungle is pretty much 50-50 here when you think about it. But the side lanes as well, you see about it, everything is pretty much mirrored. When it comes to gold as well, it's only a 600-500 deficit from the side of NSL. And the thing is, while they are kind of like low in terms of gold as well, still kills for GRINDSKY, they're still managing to equalize this situation for them.
Yeah, now GRINDSKY looking to go for the contest onto
Oh,
the
that was
Red Trails of
beautiful!
NS11. Going for contest. As GRINDSKY, ERIS has to retreat. Ray going in for the hero's entrance. 3-man taunt coming through. Gia with the final spark connecting to every single one of NSL. They're very low. And GRINDSKY follows this up as AA produces damage. NS10, the front lines, getting the silence in onto Gia. As that will be the 2-for-2.
Honestly, that was exactly what the GRINDSKY had in mind when they picked the Lux support here. They wanted that CC to happen, or taunt to happen from the side of Galio, and then you're gonna have a 2-man bind as well as a final spark. That's a lot of damage coming through. And even though they were down by what, 2-3 people in terms of the fight, it didn't really matter because everyone did what they had to do. Now, in terms of what GRINDSKY can do to kind of like equalize everything and keep it going on, is that they have to make sure that they don't get caught out one by one, to make sure that they can play together. Because I noticed that NS11, he's always coming in from areas you never really realize he's gonna be at, and just catches you off guard with the grand entrance as well as the quickness.
And everyone is just patiently waiting into the mid lane. If ever a fight occurs, they could respond. But with the Red Herald spawned in mid lane as well, they want to just split up the division here for GRINDSKY. As now, it's going to be a lockdown coming from NS13 with a Hextech ultimatum, getting that first blood. Gia is down already as GRINDSKY looks to retreat, but not for long as NSL catches up. And they're in trouble as Wanheda is here into the back lines as well. Going to disrupt their enemy team, as that will be the 4 kills with Wanheda leading the charge. NS19, Wanheda to 1v1, who will win, and GRINDSKY will reign supreme with an ace.
Yup, that's right. Very, very beautifully played. And I really gotta say, I think the idea was that NSL really wanted to focus on the damage dealer that was Lux just now. But in the meantime, while they were all focused up on Lux, the damage coming in from AA, coming in from Less of You was coming through, and they weren't able to combat them because they were sort of tunnel visioned here.
Yeah, it was surprising though what happened there. Right. I didn't know what was happening. Like, Wanheda is in the back lines, the rest of the crew for NSL was in the front lines of GRINDSKY. It was confusing.
It really was.
Wanheda,
but when you think about Wanheda is doing what a Jax is supposed to do. Come in for the backlines or go for those important people, because she can just helicopter her way out of any kind of like high damage situations. And she can just tank everything, just dodge that damage. For now, their sights are set on the dragon, and right now what they can do is they just clear as many as they can. But you know what? They changed their minds. They want to go for 19. They're gonna be doing the chase here, and she's suddenly all alone.
you have to run, you have to hide. The Ray here on with the taunt will not connect though. The reach, the distance, too far. NSL 19 will go back to safety, but with the Cloud Drake there, GRINDSKY might just contest this, or might just finish or start this up.
Yeah, but there is a ward in the backline here. They do cut some information if they want to. We have seen S70 coming in as well, but...
Goodness. Grand entrance, a charm. That's a 4-man charm coming in from Rakan. And GRINDSKY ERIS is now in trouble as Cloud Drake. 900 HP already. They're not going for it as GRINDSKY will take it in the end. NS11, Grand entrance. Over the hill, Wanheda is still chasing. NS10 is in trouble. The sun is there. Stairs gauge now popped off. And that's it. GRINDSKY takes 2 and NSL takes 1.
I am just, while we talked about in terms of initiation, while NSL doesn't come out on top, but you really gotta give it to 11. Her initiation is just crazy. You just never know where exactly she's gonna pop out from. And whenever she does a grand entrance, it's gonna be a decimate, just like what happened to Riven.
Flawless CC change from GRINDSKY. Just a sponge followed up with light binding with a final spark. Just crushed NS19's hope to live with 11. Now with the Grand Entrance defending. GRINDSKY. Flash coming in with a Justice Punch, with a taunt as well, getting that kill on the Corki. Hextech Ultimatum though, the counter engage coming from 13. Really nice. It's a 1-for-1. Make it 2-for-1 when in consideration of their past kill from GRINDSKY. But with that kill, they're pushing in him.
Yep, that's right. Juanita is just so annoying to deal with. While we thought that NS11 is the thorn in their side when it comes to team fights or at least initiations, Juanita is that teammate where she'll either go aggressive coming in from the back line, or you'll find her chilling all the way on a side lane just doing so much damage and havoc. It's just hard to keep in check, because when you think about it, when you look at the build here coming in from Juanita, she's not building a hull breaker. So it's hard for them to actually kind of suspect that she'll be putting pressure on the back lines. However, when you think about it, does Juanita really need the hull breaker to be doing that much damage or put that much pressure onto the side lanes? Clearly not, from what we've seen.
Yeah, and I don't think she's gonna build hull breaker.
No, because she has a
As
tree
we've
force.
talked about a while ago, right? It's Asena and Lux being in the dual lane, lacking when it comes to damage, and Wanheda and AA will be their hyper carries when it comes to team fights. And now, speaking of team fights, 11 go for the Grand Entrance onto AA.
That was one
Hero's
moment
Entrance is there.
that it didn't work out. Did you notice that? They already knew that NS11 likes to hide in bushes, and immediately Gia responds by throwing out her snare, so she's not able to follow up with that chain of abilities.
Wanheda in danger though.
Is she though?
While that's happening, GRINDSKY ERIS starting the Baron Nashor, so that splits NSL's manpower. Is going to be in danger for NSL. If GRINDSKY takes the Baron Nashor, they could push the inhib turrets right there with a mist. Pushing forward, but 13.
What? Juanita? The question that I asked just now, is she though? Clearly not, because we saw 19 running for her life. She can't do anything against Juanita.
Just 2 stacked NSL though. Now looking for the Baron Nashor once again, but GRINDSKY is doing a double bluff here as they go for the turn once again. NSL is in danger, and 13 has to retreat with AA going in for the damage up, but he dies, or she dies. That will be GRINDSKY having a numbers advantage. NS10 is in danger as well with less of you. Going for some pokes, going for some damage. So Wanheda is just soloing the mid lane. That will be the end of NS10 as GRINDSKY takes 2 from that fight.
Yep, that's right. They baited them out using the Baron. But the problem is, I would have to say it was just Juanita, but initiation is going to happen here.
Now 3-man loop coming from Senna. 2-man Grand Entrance though coming from Rakan. Great engage, but AA with his Stasis Zanchan buys some time and he's back to safety.
I'm just in awe right now at how GS managed to really play this. Juanita right now 3-2-1, but the problem is the helicopter. When you think about it, so much pressure on not only the side lanes but also from the other lanes as well. She doesn't really have to play with her teammates. She can just go aggressive and play a 1-4 sort of lineup if they want to. And the thing is, it takes about what, 2-3 people just to bring Juanita down, and that's not even guaranteed a kill. You're not guaranteed to actually send Juanita back to the base.
Yeah. Although interestingly enough, less of you, Senna built into a mana melee into an Edge of Night just to cancel CCs and to spam out skills instead. But for now, GRINDSKY starting the Infernal Drake. Wanheda is nowhere to be found along with NS10, so it's a 4v4. Comes to an all-in here from NSL if ever it comes down to it.
Well, NS11's just waiting on the side here. I think he really wants to make something happen, but that Shroud is just giving them so much problems because you can't exactly tell where everyone's going to be. And Juanita doing Juanita things. That was a beautiful zone out.
NS10 dies. That will be a 2v1, but right now NSL has the number 6 advantage as GRINDSKY is now alive for every single role, every single player. And GRINDSKY though is pushing forward. Ray dies. It's a 1-for-1, but Wanheda comes through to the back lines once again. He's just opening up the fight for GRINDSKY, and Wanheda will slowly smash NSL to the ground, securing the ace.
What's really interesting was that NS19 felt like she kind of tunnel visioned there because she was so aggressive onto Gia. While we know in the usual matchup, Lux can definitely not win against the Riven, but the problem is she did not take into account the collapse that was gonna be coming in from the other side of GRINDSKY ERIS. However, though, GG's, we're gonna be seeing Game 2 taken by GRINDSKY ERIS, and we're gonna go to Game 3. The question is, are we gonna go have a 3-0 in this best of 5?
I have no clue. I can't answer that. We're still not there yet.
Yeah, but it does keep everyone questioning and wanting to keep watching. But for now, let's kind of analyze here what exactly made that game tick. In your opinion, do you think that Juanita was the MVP for this match?
Definitely would be. I mean, the first team fight that we saw, the all-in coming in from GRINDSKY, it was Juanita just leading the charge from GRINDSKY, opening up the backlines for them, clearing out and dealing damage onto Corki, just shredding the hyper carries for NSL. And after that, following through to the next big team fight, Juanita once again showed up to the backlines, disrupting. So definitely an MVP title for Juanita if ever I'm going to give someone for this game too.
Yeah, that's right. It's a lot of eyes on her. As soon as I saw that Jax pick, immediately I thought, wow, this is going to be very painful from the side of NSL. While the idea was that they have a Camille, they have a Riven, enough to disrupt Juanita, but the problem is Juanita was the type of player that just still manages to scale up no matter what. No matter how many times you're going to come gank up top, so long as Juanita comes online, because of her good microplay, she's able to make so many things happen. We saw NS19 and NS11 try to go a 2-on-1 against Juanita, and the thing is, we were like saying that Juanita was gonna die or be in trouble, but was she though? No, she ended up sending both of them running back to base with their tail between their legs.
Tail between the legs.
Yeah, like a dog,
Sure.
a sad dog, like.
Oh yeah,
you
makes
make a
sense.
sound. Yeah.
It's like processing.
like like Nasus with his tail between his legs. Does Nasus have a tail? I don't think he does.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I'm
Probably
disappointed. I'm disappointed. The only dog with a tail is a corgi. Get it? A corgi skin. It's
Fair
a
enough.
tail.
But if we're talking about tails, Ari has 9, so we could talk about Ari instead. But for now, that is game number 2 here for the grand finals. We're already at match point for GRINDSKY. 1 win away for the championship title here for FSL Wild Rift Open 2. That's it for now for game number 2. I'm Infinity and that's Tashbunny. We're going to take a short break, but don't go away. After we come back, it's game 3 of the grand finals.
I got you and your vibes in my mind, I can't get them out, no matter how hard I try. I need you and your heart next to mine, yeah, I'm all about keeping it you and I. When you're here, you spark chemical reactions, your aura strikes like lightning. Got no words, I'm just drowning in attraction. Only one way to describe it. It's electric, can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric, I'm up in my feelings. Got double vision 'cause of you tonight. It's electric.
go, there's no doubt. Gotta get out of this small town. You took my heart from me, now you're everywhere I see. Set me free, let me fly, let me find new kinds of highs. We're just wasting here, waiting for another year. We both know the score, we've been here once before. So many words unspoken, you took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait, I can take the pain. I will surrender, let me go on a new adventure. On a new adventure. On a new adventure. Let me go, it's my time. Watch me build another life. Find another space. Explore the world and find my place. Hope you find some peace of mind. Hope the night was worth your time. Threw my heart away. We won't see another day. We both know the score. We've been here once before. So many words unspoken. You took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait, I can take the pain. I will surrender, let me go. It's a new adventure. On a new adventure. You'll find me dancing on my own. Nowhere to be, nowhere to go. In the rhythm, I don't think of you. Don't call me up when you're feeling blue. You'll find me dancing on my own. Nowhere to be, nowhere to go. In the rhythm, I don't think of you. Let me go. It's a new adventure. On a new adventure.
Welcome back, everyone, to FSL Wild Rift Open 2. We're here in the grand finals already. Match point for GRINDSKY up against NSL. I'm Infinity, and this is Tashbunny, your casters for the grand finals. We're nearing to the end, Tashbunny.
Well, maybe if
Maybe,
say
maybe.
GRINDSKY wins this, they take the crown away from NSL. But if say NSL is able to make a comeback, take this game, we'll be going to a game 4 tonight, which is going to be really exciting because we were just talking about how NSL would be able to readapt. Yes, they did in terms of their draft, but the problem is in terms of adaptability, a team that's always 2 or 3 steps ahead is GRINDSKY.
It's like when you take a step one, you have your opposing team having 2 steps forward.
Yeah.
Like something like that. I think I changed the quote because I think it's like when you take 1 step backward, you take 2 steps forward. I just
Yeah.
changed it up.
Yeah, that's right. You take 1 step forward and someone else just takes 3 steps forward. Like you thought you were ahead, but no, we had plan B all along. But I really gotta
Yeah.
give it to GRINDSKY though. They're just so adaptable. In round 1, we were just asking who exactly is gonna be their initiator. They don't have the front lines, they don't have the tanks, but yet They made a Corki Yumi initiator work. What? I'm just in awe. And then in round number 2, we said okay, in terms of round 2, NSL looked like they had a better comp, more flexibility, able to play around as much as they want. And then suddenly GRINDSKY was like, no, we're gonna give you a Jax, and that Jax gonna take up so much of your time to deal with.
Yeah, it's just crazy, right? How GrindSky was just adapting quite frequently when it comes to their draft. Yes, ban away, take away the river. We're gonna take up Jax, and where you have a Senna in their lineup, we're gonna pick up Galio and Lux in the same draft. It's just amazing to see here how GrindSky is able to just go ahead and pick these champions up for their team.
Yeah, that's right. But you know what's even more like something interesting as well compared to WCS MYSG? We're seeing more enchanter supports picked up by the girls here in FSL. As opposed to in WCS, we saw people who are more interested in taking those super initiator tanky supports. I mean, we did see a Braum, but we haven't seen a Thresh yet. We haven't seen a Galio support or a Set support. And those are some of the top picks here in WCS MYSG in terms of supports.
Yeah, definitely seen a lot of enchanters as in the meta, right? It's really, really strong. Karma, Galio. Well, Galio's not an enchanter, but Lulu could be one. Janna is also one. So a
No
lot
one
of these
picked
champions could be
Lulu.
picked up.
I'm in shock. Like if you were to see a WCS MYSG, if you saw Lulu free, it's either gonna be banned or it's either gonna be picked up. And most of the time, we usually see Lulu first pick, but looks like in terms of picks and bans here, I think what a GrindSky is gonna do is just gonna maintain their usual type of playstyle. I mean, right now, if you notice, Angela came in to play as well. So
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's not AA anymore. Coming from
no,
GrindSky
they
when it
switched
comes to
out.
their
Yeah,
jungling.
I mean, we've seen we saw AA on Jace. It was pretty good, but
Yeah.
Angela as well yesterday was also just equally as terrifying. Usually, when we see a sub come in, we always question what sort of playstyle are they gonna give in, what kind of variety they're gonna do, how is it gonna be different than last match and this match. But if you see all these girls play, it's like as though regardless of who plays, they're all gonna be on the same page, and they can always be sure that each player will be playing the same sort of playstyle in order to kind of accommodate everyone instead of having to switch out their playstyle when someone subs out.
Yeah, and this will be an interesting change. What will GrindSky Esports be doing? Are they going to change their lineup? But because right now we're seeing the Sen and Nasus coming from GrindSky immediately when it comes to their first phase picks, and Jace to be along with it. And we've seen a Sen and Nasus coming from GrindSky in the bot lane, but considering you have the Tristana for GrindSky, this might be different. This could be a Nasus top lane.
Yeah, that's right. Xin
But nope.
Zhao will be the one taken. I was actually really disappointed. I really like seeing Tristana picks, and Tristana can be very, very terrifying because of her range and how much mobility she has. However, though, looks like Senna will be playing the AD role, and we're just waiting on Gia. What exactly does she want to do in terms of support? Because when you think about it, Xin Zhao is recently one of the more popular picks in terms of jungle because of how much flexibility he can bring in as well, and his damage negate makes it so annoying to deal with. But so far in WCS MYSG, we've seen Wukong's picked up, but it's rare to see a Wukong actually win a game because he's actually quite squishy. And even though he has a lot of playmaking potential with his knockups, it's just really hard for him to even go forward.
And we have Rakan. So
Okay.
when you talked about like team fights, when you talk about engages, there's going to be
This
a
is
wombo
solid.
combo from NSL.
This is gonna be super
Although-
solid. Sorry, go
The
ahead.
big problem that they have is they're only having a reliance on Lucian. If Lucian dies, their draft fails.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if you think about it, in terms of playmaking potential and CC, they have a lot. Rakan with the grand
They do.
entrance, Wukong with his ultimate. We have Karma with also her ultimate. The displacement is endless from them. But I really want to see how GrindSky adapts to this. We talked about adaptability, how GrindSky is able to adapt in terms of frontliners. They have a Riven, they have a Xin Zhao. Heck, they can even go Jace to initiate if they want to, and eventually it's gonna be I just realized something. It's NASA support. I haven't seen this yet.
We've seen it.
We did?
Well, never mind. You were gone. Yesterday for game number 1, Senna Nasus came up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, how did that go?
I think they were just playing late because if you play late with the Senna Nasus, their infinite scaling, you pretty much just dominate in the late game. So what NSL should be doing right now should
End the
be
game
prioritizing
fast.
the early game.
Yeah.
End the game fast.
They can, but I'm just really curious to see how NS13 will be going forward with this Wukong pick. I have not yet seen a successful Wukong pick in comp, so this is gonna be really, really exciting.
Yeah.
However, though,
We'll
we've seen
see.
NS11 with the Rakan.
Mhm.
We know the playmaking potential, so I can say that how it's gonna be. Well, this is my speculation. We're gonna see 11 go in, followed by the Wukong and the Karma to displace them.
Yeah, they have a lot of AoE CCs.
Yeah.
Pretty much every single one of them. But Garen, an exception, a single targeted silence, not really AoE, but still,
I mean,
regardless
you
of
can
that,
spin to
they
win.
have...
You can just go in the middle and just spin.
I mean, sure, yeah. could be.
Wheel of Fortune? Nah, let's change it to Wheel of Garen.
Yeah, could be that. I think NSL, when it comes to the mid-game, late game, definitely would not want some team fights to occur, especially if NSL gains the advantage in the early game. But we're now here for match point for GRINDSKY here in the grand finals.
Wow, that's early aggression coming in from NS11. But NS17 will be the one to pay for his sins. Took so much damage here from less of you.
What the roles will be here is that Senna's just gonna poke Lucian and Rakan, while Nasus takes the last hit consistently into the bot lane.
Yep.
And expectedly enough, less of you will be building into a Divine Thunder. But for now, one header! Oh,
That's a little bit
So
too
close.
close for comfort. I held my breath there. I was just scared for her. But I was gonna say, over the bot lane there, it was like a story of like a Romeo and Juliet situation, you know? The two lovers not able to be together. But if you look at that, the mid lane
that's
though,
sad.
it is very sad. Because not only are they separated by death, but now they're also separated by being in different teams.
Pain.
Too early for this,
Alright.
man.
Yeah. How do we come to that topic of
I
death
mean-
and romance and whatever?
because of the lore behind Senna and Lucian, you know, their husband and wife and stuff. But look at that, the aggression from the bottom
Oh.
lane here is something I'm very excited about. But looks like
Oh no!
Nasus gonna come out
Good
on top.
body block coming in from less of you. Block that damage coming from Lucian, and now Gia is safe. But that 1 HP, really scary for now in the bot lane. There's a lot of trade backs back and forth from both teams.
yeah, that's right. They really want to stop Gia from farming as much as possible. But looks like they want to be. They're just being annoying. Look at that. Just now we were just talking about how Gia would give her life for less of you. Now it's the other way around. So it's not hashtag support things. I lied. It's just hashtag BFF things at this point.
Ray is coming. Although
Nothing that can
NSL
happen.
is under the turret. Ray Shock Blast will just cancel the recall. Gia's here. Angela Lala is here as well. It's a 4-man roam coming from GRINDSKY. They really want to take down NS17 and NS11, but at the same time, NSL is here to respond. First blood coming from NSL with 11 dashing right through to engage. 17 dies, 11 follows through. GRINDSKY takes the double. It's a 2-for-2 trade. The first 2 minutes, NSL takes it back. Even footing for both teams.
Yep, that's right. We did see a thumbs up there. I think both teams are going to be very satisfied. You have a gank and you also have a counter gank in turn. Either way though, looks like both teams are really stepping it up because right now, NSL has everything to lose. It's go big or go home for them. And they don't want to go home early because this is only match number 3. They don't want to go down a 3-0, not against a team like GRINDSKY because to them, they want to protect their crown.
Absolutely, the throne is theirs. But GRINDSKY is here to take it down for themselves. We'll see how that would turn out. NSL, the defending champion, and GRINDSKY, the undefeated team here so far here in FSL Wild Rift Open 2. Their only option right now, as you stated, is to go big, or else they will fall.
Yeah, that's right. But I really like this proactive plays here coming from GRINDSKY because they know that their requirement is to stop that early lead coming through.
Wukong Cyclone going for the knockoff. Lucian is there as well. Angelilila is down, but not until he gets the trade. It's a 1-for-1 from GRINDSKY for NSL, but Jungler is down for GRINDSKY.
Yep, that's right. Because the jungler is out, they can safely take this dragon. It's going to be huge for them, but looks like they're not going to be prioritizing that because mid lane is where they want to go for. But look at that. We are going to be seeing a rotate here coming in from NS. They're saying, that's fine. You thought that you're going to go for a dragon? We'll go for the herald because we want to prioritize lanes and turrets.
They're too late to start the Rift Herald. Angelilila is now up. There's a 5-man roam coming from GRINDSKY. And now with Ray coming to the backside. 11 is very low. Rude coming from Karma might just save his life. The Mesh Injustice kills Ray. It's a 1-for-1 trade with 13 dead. GRINDSKY continuing the Rift Herald. Pink for the leash, NSL.
Yep, that's right. And this is exactly what they wanted. Well, it was a 1-for-1 trade. The problem is 13 was the target. With 13 out of the way, they can't get the objectives that they need. And now suddenly, it's just falling apart here from the side of NSL because immediately the rotations are going to be coming in from NSL. And from GRINDSKY. And this is what I really like about GRINDSKY is that, okay, we got a turret, we got our objective. What can we do next? They're always thinking about what they can do on step number 2, step number 3. They're pretty much already have their sights on the next goal. And the turret from top lane is going to go down.
Now, it's NSL looking to go for the trade when it comes to turret calling is there. Losing a lot of damage now, brings down Ray into half HP or low HP as Gia tries to protect him, but that will be at the cost of the support of GRINDSKY falling down to the ground. It's NSL taking the kill for a turret traded from GRINDSKY.
Honestly, Gia has saved them, but for now, 13 is going to be in trouble, has a Cyclone out of the way. So coming back to that I was talking about just now, the fact is Gia had already protected her carry. The problem now is Gia thought that she could get the kill onto NS17, but the problem is she forgot that they had a Karma, and Karma shields are very irritating to deal with.
Yeah, it's really annoying because it gives you so much shield and it actually scales when it comes to the AP that you have. And looking at the items, she has building up onto Luden's Echo. Of course, prioritizing onto the Oblivion Orb, reducing the amount of heals that less of you will be providing for his team. That is actually quite clever, but this delays the first core item power spike coming in from Karma into a later stage.
Yeah, that's right. But what do you think would be the best item for a damage dealing Karma early other than a Luden's Echo?
I mean, Ludens would be the priority early on when it comes to a damage dealer such as Karma, if ever you want to build that path. And then maybe after you could go Rabadon stat cap, or you can go a Leandris route. It really depends on what you want to do, but Rabadon is just too expensive.
It really
So if you build
is.
onto a Rabadon stat cap, it's going to take you a long time to be able to complete it.
That's why it's called needlessly large rod, because it's so expensive. Items.
11 though. Go for the grand entrance with a quickness. Goes for the grand entrance onto less of you with a knock-up. And now Gia, exhaust. She's slowed. She cannot run away. He only has to walk as NSL brings her down.
That was honestly such two great picks over on mid side here, and exactly what they needed, because maybe finally they can take down mid lane. Because right now it's only Angelila up here, but look at the damage coming up from the Jace.
Then ulti will give some shield. Angelila is going for the backside though. No support, no response. Ray just has to walk away. But here into the bot side of the map, it's one head though, 1v1 up against N10. They're both safe, too mobile, too quick. With the Honeyfruit from NS10, her HP is back to half.
I'm just so Juanita. It's just in terms of timing, she's insane. As soon as the Damascene Justice comes around, immediately she timed her shield to come up just to kind of give her that breathing room to make sure that her HP doesn't go too low. But look at that. Even though GRINDSKY is able to really shove up mid, the problem is look at how much NSL really want to protect the mid side. There's so much priority given to them. They really want to go as aggressive as they can here. And the problem is, even if less of you and Jaya plays two men here alone over on mid side, the playmaking or potential coming down. Look at that, so aggressive coming from the side.
11, grand entrance. Knock up onto less of you, although no all-ins there for NSL as it's too deep
It's a bit of a waste
They-
actually when you think about it, because that grand entrance could have been used for something else, and now if you think about it, GRINDSKY, like, okay, now that the Rakan is down on the ultimate, we can actually go a little bit more aggressive because they can't really utilize the grand entrance to really stop us in terms of how we want to fight back.
Definitely something that they could utilize, but for now, all ultimates are ready for both teams, GRINDSKY and NSL. Each and every single member, but under the hands of GRINDSKY, they take the Rift Herald uncontested from NSL. They don't have any information now. NSL 11 going for the Grand Entrance with the quickness as well, going for the knockoff, going for the charm as well, but not gonna be enough as GRINDSKY goes back away. It's a double kill for NSL. Changes things up. They turn the tables around.
Yep, that's right. They just needed some time to just come online. But for now, when you think about it, Ray actually wasn't close by. Ray on the aggressive here. For now, they're going to be setting their sights onto Gia. And don't forget, Gia is a Nasus. She hasn't really come on full online just yet. So when she scales up, as time goes by, it's going to be a lot more scary between Gia and less of you. And they really need to look out for that. They need to make something happen to make sure to end the game early or to shut them down, to slow down their growth.
Yeah, and really, despite how NSL was playing this early game, they have shown us quite a bit of dominance there up against GRINDSKY. But when we're looking at the gold, it's still GRINDSKY who has the
Right?
lead. They still have the advantage.
I don't know how they're managing to equalize this, because when you look at team fights, NSL always comes up on top. They're just so good at making sure that they're not left too far behind.
For now, we'll see how that would change as GRINDSKY looks to contest the Infernal Drake. And Estendo in the front line is going to tank all these damage, but when it comes to the back lines, One Header once again making some things change, looking for that miracle play. The quickness in the Grand Entrance delays One Header's push, killing off NS17. As he stays alive, Ray coming in for the flank. NS17 is so low, but a Karma Shield saved his life. Ray ready to go for the flank, looking for the sidelines, but will not push through as GRINDSKY has their eyes locked in onto the tier 1 bot lane.
Yep, that's right. Mid lane as well will be going on real soon, but you really gotta give it to Juanita. She actually managed to make sure that NSL used all of their abilities and resources just on her. So all they had to do, even if she went down, the cleanup crew, which is her team, is already has so much room to breathe as well, because not only are they low on life, they don't even have the abilities to fight back by that time.
And with the 2 turrets taken down by GRINDSKY, they're now on a 4k gold lead. Just a while back, it's only 1k gold deficit from NSL.
You know what GRINDSKY's playstyle remind me of? It really reminds me of, Wild Rift Korea's gameplay, where the team, or even China, when you think about it, they're so focused on objectives as opposed to team fights and kills, which is something that we usually see from different parts of the world.
Yeah, it's a bit slow, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit more slow, but they do what they need to do in order to win the game, which just really shows a different sort of tune here in terms of their playstyle, which means that not only kills can get us ahead, great farming, great micro play in terms of making sure that we can manage our waves properly, and getting objectives is what you want to look out for, because later, eventually, those kills will be falling into our pocket as late game comes through.
And now it's Senna and Angela Lila is there. The sidelines with the mist. Gia slowing 11. Quickness in the Grand Entrance. Grand Entrance will miss. The charm will not connect. It's GRINDSKY ERIS punishing NSL, but NSL trying to turn this around with NS10 in the front lines. Mission Justice will not be able to secure Ray, but that will already be a double kill from One Header once again. Killing the back lines from NSL. What One Header is doing is a miracle for GF.
I really have to agree, and on top of that, NS11, this is one of those situations where I just gotta say, yes, your initiation is great, but at what cost? There was a little bit of a disconnect between her and her teammates just now. Look at this again.
NSL just looks really engaged, but not going for an all-in. They know that GRINDSKY has the advantage, so if they push that through, they're gonna lose.
Yeah, and NS11, it just felt like it was those situations where they felt, we gotta make something happen, we're way too behind, and it felt like they were just too desperate to make something happen. Again, with the initiate coming through, but the problem is, can they get a kill here? Looks like Gia might be going down.
Gia uses up the ultimate to buy some HP for herself, and now with Karma not Grand Entrance, Karma ulti, holding back Gia back, so they have to retreat. Twin Shadows will give information for NSL. Although this is clever, GRINDSKY has to retreat. They have to recall, buy some items for themselves, and then go for the fight.
Yeah, that's right. The reset is definitely what they need. And this is what comes back to discipline. Because sometimes we see teams that are just a little bit too low, want to go too aggressive, and they think, oh, we can just all out. Because just now we saw Gia actually had that lapse in judgment in trying to take one person down, but instead going down instead because she didn't take into account how many people will be there on their team. But this time around, though, we're seeing a lot more discipline coming from them. If you see Gia, she's never far away from less of you.
Oh, now, speaking of Gia, he's going for the flank here up against NS13, but a Cyclone not going to be enough to hinder GRINDSKY's push. And now with the jungler down, Baron can be started.
Yeah, that's right. Juanita, she wants to play aggressive. I have to say, Juanita is just great at not only putting in that damage, but also playing as a zoner. Ray Ray is good too, but Juanita, because of how mobile she is, how aggressive she can be, and how mobile she can be as well. That's why she's able to really play into the backlines. But finally, we may be seeing an answer here from the side of NSL as they already prepped themselves from the dragon as it comes out in about now, actually.
Yeah, and NSL, what they could do is just trade in turrets, trade in objectives, get more gold for their team. But GRINDSKY is poised and ready to go for the contest. As NSL 11 now in danger. Senna ultimate will give some shield, and that will give a lot of sustainability for GRINDSKY. ERIS, as that will already be the double. The fight has not even begun, and GRINDSKY already punished NSL.
Yep, that's right. Less of you with that Senna ultimate does work and gets out the annoying Rakan out of the way, which means that they can safely and happily take the dragon. They don't even care if there's a ward in there because they know that they're able to safely do it. They saw the Wukong, or at least 13, run with his tail between his legs. And for now, NS17, all he has to do is just farm, because if you look at in terms of gold, the only person with a lot of gold right now is Lucian. 6-1 for him in his pocket. But we talked about that. It is a team game. It's a 5 versus 5. No matter how far ahead Lucian can be, without the support of his teammates to enable him in team fights, he can't really do much.
Yeah, in the same manner, in the same perspective, we talked about in the draft. When Lucian dies, or if Lucian is not available in a team fight, NSL will not do any damage.
Yep, that's
Zero.
how we saw so many situations where NS17 wasn't able to do anything, but look at the initiation coming through.
11, Grand Entrance, 2-man knockup already, followed up by the Cyclone. CC Chain is going to be flawless coming from NSL, but GRINDSKY ERIS looks to go for the counter engage as 13 and 11 falls down and 17 is slowed. They're retreating and GRINDSKY is ready to punish. They're ready to steal the crown from NSL.
Yep, that's right. Bottom lane now empty, mid lane as well going to go down. 17 all alone here. He can't do anything because knock. There are 3 of us here on your lane. The flash coming out from less of you is nothing, and now he's cornered in his base.
And GRINDSKY, with their undefeated run, will win the grand finals here for FSL Wild Rift Open. They shut down the defending champions, and they will be your champions here for FSL.
Yup, that's right. They take away the crown from NSL, thus giving us a brand new queen from FSL. So now let's talk a little bit about the breakdown in the game just now. In terms of draft, we did say just now that in terms of NSL, they had the right idea what they want to do. They have a great initiator. They have so much displacement in terms of AoE CC. But the problem with that is, I did mention just now, NS13 not being available to take those important objectives around, because every time NS13 wants to make something happen, because of Wukong's just so squishiness early, she just gets shut down. By the time that she goes in, she's gonna get picked off already. Immediately, you see GRINDSKY go like, okay, Wukong's out of the way, go, Herald. Immediately, go, Dragon. Immediately, go take a turret. And in terms of damage as well, you can see here, Gia, less of you, are the 2 damage dealers here. And this is why we don't want to see a Senna as well as a Nasa's bot lane. Because when they scale up, woo, that's scary.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about their late game potential. And when it comes to late game champions, Senna and Nasus is the epitome of late game. So, you have that for you. Served in a silver platter from NSL. 3-0 fantastic run from GRINDSKY, their undefeated run from their group stages up until here in the grand finals.
Yep, that's right. And this is gonna be the end of this one. 3-0 is the game for tonight. Very unfortunate, and NSL wasn't able to come back from that. However, though, I gotta really commend NSL because in terms of trying out new strats, trying to be as adaptable as possible, I think that they're definitely a team that is not scared to take risks. That Wukong pick was definitely a risk, though, but we love to see it because you are definitely trying to try something new. But then again, we did come to talk about execution. Sometimes that win condition that you put on yourself with your draft can be the hindrance from the ideal playmaking potential in your head.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. The Wukong, the Rakan, I like the
idea behind it, right?
The idea of the draft, yeah.
It's just so good. But the thing is, it's just like GRINDSKY was just able to adapt to it. I think in the first early part, we saw them kind of like lose out because of the quickness, because of the Grand Entrance followed up by the Wukong Ultimate. But after a while, when we start seeing Nasus get really tanky, when we see Senna just kind of scale up, that was the problem here. Because 13 just kept going down, they kept losing out on objectives, and the fact that GRINDSKY was able to really equalize in terms of gold as well, they were like, it's fine, we don't have enough kills, but we can just make sure that we don't fall behind by making sure we farm and get the right objectives. And I think that's kind of like a great mindset, because sometimes you can get really discouraged when you see your kind of like kill like 7-0. But sometimes when you look at your goal again, you're like, oh, we're actually not that far behind. It's actually no problem at all.
Yeah, and we talked about this a while ago, right? In the middle of the game, number 3, like the standing was 10-4. But GRINDSKY was still on the lead. Surprisingly, it was shocking.
Yeah, I really gotta give it as well. To what's going on as well is just the fact that Juanita was able to provide. I think if I could give Juanita a title, I would say that she's a troublemaker or a distractor for the team, enough to really take attention away from so many different players for them to really go for those objectives or those turrets as well.
Yeah, absolutely amazing plays from every single team here at FSL Wild Rift Open. But with that grand finals being concluded, GRINDSKY taking the throne here in Wild Rift Open 2. That's it for this tournament, this magnificent tournament. And of course, shout outs to Yahoo and Intel for sponsoring and supporting this tournament. Thank you very much. Without you guys, this tournament will not be possible. I'm Infinity, and this is Tashbunny, your casters for the grand finals. Tashbunny, and last words here for the viewers watching at home.
Well, GG, well played, and hope to see more teams here over an FSL Wild Rift Open. Hopefully, we'll see more in Open 3 because I want to see who will be our FSL Wild Rift Open Queens next.
That's it. We're your casters. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and see you guys in the next season.